This is a CBS News special report. I'm Ben Tracy in Washington. We're coming on the air because a jury in Kenosha, Wisconsin, has reached a verdict in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse was 17 when he shot 3 people, killing 2 during protests over a police shooting in August of 2020. Rittenhouse is now 18 and could face up to life in prison if convicted of the most serious charge, intentional homicide. Now, Rittenhouse claims he shot the men with an AR-15 style rifle in self-defense. The city of Kenosha is on alert, with police and National Guard troops bracing for possible protests in the wake of the verdict. The verdict is about to be read. Let's listen in now to the courtroom, presided over by Judge Bruce Schrader.
The defendant will rise and face the jury and hearken to its verdicts.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Would you wish the jury polled?
No.
Okay. Okay, folks, your job is done, and we started just about 3 weeks ago. And I told you it could last 2 weeks and 2 days. This is 2 weeks. This is 3 weeks. You were a wonderful jury to work with. You were punctual. You were attentive. And the forgotten 6 over here who had a very difficult job of keeping from discussing the case during the time that they were sequestered as well. All of you, I couldn't have asked for a better jury to work with. And it has truly been my pleasure. I think, without commenting on your verdict, the verdicts themselves, just in terms of your the attentiveness and the cooperation that you gave to us, justifies the confidence that the founders of our country placed in you. So, I dismiss you at this time. You're never under any obligation to discuss any aspect of this case with anyone. You're welcome to do so as little or as much as you want. The media have requested, a number of media sources have requested the ability to talk to you, and they have been allowed to present presentations to you that you'll get in writing. And it's entirely up to you whether you want to contact them. They are not to contact you. If anyone does contact you and just tell them you're not interested in discussing it, if that's the case. And if anyone persists in doing so, report that to us and it will be addressed, I assure you. At the beginning of the trial, there was some concern about information and your safety, and I assure you that we will take every measure to ensure that that is your concerns are addressed and respected. I'm going to talk to you for just a minute, not about anything to do with the case, but just about that sole issue. And you, as I say, you're welcome to discuss the case as little or as much as you want. Any questions, anybody? Thank you so much. And you're after 4 years, you're eligible for service again. It would be my pleasure to work with you. Thank you.
Judge, you have them all go back upstairs?
Yeah, please. Or in the they can attend in the library. It's not going to be more than a minute, or maybe it will be. Yeah, take them upstairs. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, there you have it. The 12-person jury in Kenosha, Wisconsin, has found 18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all 5 charges, including intentional homicide. CBS's Nancy Chen has been covering this trial. She is outside the courthouse in Kenosha, where 500 members of the Wisconsin National Guard are standing by. Nancy, what is the scene like there?
Ben, when that verdict was announced, we heard cheers coming from some of the supporters of Kyle Rittenhouse who have been gathering out here. This is the largest crowd we've seen out here since the trial started. Honks could be heard as some celebrated this news. The verdict, not guilty on all counts. That does mean that Kyle Rittenhouse will shortly walk out of this courtroom and this courthouse. Rittenhouse had been charged with 5 counts charged related to the events of August 25th, 2020 that led to the deaths of 2 men, as well as another being seriously injured. Rittenhouse had faced potentially life in prison in connection to this for the first degree of intentional homicide if that had been found guilty. Instead, he has been found not guilty on all counts. The jury being thanked right now in that courtroom as Rittenhouse has walked outside at this point. This has been a trial that has enraptured not only the nation, but really the world as it started nearly 3 weeks ago. Deliberations have continued now for about 26 hours over 4 days. Closing arguments in this case were made on Friday, but it has been a very difficult for many a couple of weeks here, as they've heard from 30 witnesses, more than 30 witnesses, over 8 days of testimony. But in the end, Kyle Rittenhouse found not guilty, as he will walk out of that courtroom, Ben.
All right, Nancy Chen, thank you. Let's bring in CBS News legal analyst Rikki Klieman. Rikki, this is a jury that obviously wrestled with this decision over the course of 4 days. They asked the judge to review some evidence. They had some questions. What do you make of their verdict?
What I make of their verdict is that this was a long and thorough deliberation as to each charge and as to each of the laws. What happens here in a self-defense case is that we have to remember that the burden of proof is on the government. It is on the prosecutor beyond a reasonable doubt that the prosecutor must show that Kyle Rittenhouse did not act in self-defense. That is an extraordinarily high burden. So if a juror is looking at the case and the juror guesses, surmises, estimates, speculates about whether or not he had a right of self-defense, that is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So in this particular case, this jury not only had to look at everything that the prosecution presented, but of course they had to assess the credibility of Kyle Rittenhouse. It was a high-risk move for the defense to put Rittenhouse on the witness stand because according to almost every legal analyst and lawyer and other academic, the prosecution was having a rough time of reaching that high burden of proof. And Kyle Rittenhouse might have made the difference the other way. Apparently, he didn't.
And we remember that day that he testified. He was very emotional on the stand that day, openly weeping in the courtroom. What kind of impact do you think that would have on a jury?
When you looked at Kyle Rittenhouse and you listened to him while he was on the witness stand, he seemed very, very calm, except for that particular outburst. Now, we have heard the difference of opinion about people who watched that outburst. Some people felt that it was crocodile tears. Some people felt that it was fake. Other people felt that it was ultimately sincere, that it showed remorse. Some people felt it looked like a panic attack. But obviously, if these jurors were touched by that emotional outburst where Kyle Rittenhouse could not even breathe, that he really couldn't get his breath, or so it appeared to me, and that the judge actually had to take a break, and the judge was the closest person to him in the courtroom. So the judge made a decision that it was important to stop the proceedings to let Kyle Rittenhouse calm himself. The other thing about Rittenhouse's testimony, because it was quite long in cross-examination, that as much as he stayed controlled and said, I shot them because otherwise I would be killed. I believed that I had to use self-defense. I believed that I had to act in this way. He seemed very controlled. But then when there were questions in cross-examination where the facts of the case came out, again, you could see that emotion. Emotion affects a jury in fundamental ways.
All right, CBS News legal analyst Rikki Klieman, thank you so much. So just to summarize, Kyle Rittenhouse, the 18-year-old in Kenosha, Wisconsin, was just found not guilty on all 5 counts that he was facing, including intentional homicide. He will very shortly walk out of that Kenosha courthouse a free person. Our coverage continues on our 24-hour streaming service, CBSN. You can watch it at cbsnews.com or download our CBS News app on your cell phone or your connected TV. There will be more on your local news, and tonight on the CBS Evening News, this has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Ben Tracy in Washington.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com.